Hi guys, welcome back to Melissa's Kitchen Table. Today I'm going to be doing a review on the Instant Pot for you. I've had this for a couple months now, since August. I have my little notepad here, so I might look down a couple times. And I've been doing quite a few recipes using this, and I did say that I was going to do a review for you guys, so I wanted to go ahead and do that. So I have the 8-quart pressure cooker, and I'll go over it with you a little bit as well. So let me see. Let me move this so you guys can take. Alright, so I had to turn the camera around so you guys could see it. Now I just wanted to go over a few things on here, and I really do think it's a great product. And of course, this is not an endorsement or anything. I haven't been paid to give my opinion on this. This is just 100% how I feel about it. So again, I have the 8-quart one here, and it has a couple different buttons on here. You have the soup button, the meat stew button, the bean chili button, poultry button, a rice button, multigrain, porridge, steam, yogurt. You have your adjustment, a timer, manual, saute, slow cook, and pressure. Now, I will say that I have tried some of these buttons, but to be honest, I really don't use the buttons that much, all of these. The rice button I do use. But honestly, I just use the manual, pressure button, saute, and slow cook. That is what I use, the adjust, of course, as well. But those seem to be the buttons that I like the most. You can do anything these are pre-programmed to do with the pressure and manual. But the other reason I don't use them is because if you use these buttons, you still have to adjust the time on some of them. The rice is the only one that you can't adjust, but all the other ones you can. And so I just don't see the need to use those. But of course you can. The other one I have not used is the steam button, but I think that one will probably be a good one. So this cooks at a low of 5.8 to 7.2 psi, and the high pressure is 10.2 to 11.6 psi. And the reason I give you those is because some people like to can, and you need to know the psi's when you're canning certain items. Like you can't can non-acidic foods in here. It just doesn't get enough pressure to do that. You would want to use a pressure canner for that. And that's something different. And I do have one. I have, I think, a 32-quart one, which I absolutely love. But in order to cook a meal in there, you need to cook a lot of food. So when I do a really large family dinner, I'll use that for like a ham and potatoes and cabbage. But this one is nice enough where I can still cook for 2 people or 4 people. You know, you could cook for 6 or 8, but it's a smaller amount. You don't need to lug out the big one. So there's a couple things. I showed you that. And then on the back here, this collects the condensation. You want to make sure that's on there. I did one time forget to put that on there, and it collects all over your counter. So you want to make sure that is on there. And it does push in. It's hard to do with just one hand here, but it just fits right on there. And then on the lid, as you can see, you have, here, let me turn it the other way. You have your venting, and then over here is steaming, or sealing, excuse me. So you have your venting over here and sealing over here. So when you're doing pressure cooking, you always want to make sure it's in the sealing position, and then if you're going to use this as a slow cooker, you want to make sure it's in the venting position. That is the difference between the two, and that's how you use it. So this little thing will pop up when you're pressure cooking. Let me see if I can do it. So it'll be up like this when you're pressure cooking, and then once it goes back down, that's how you know that all the pressure's out and you can open this. So on the inside of this, you have this rubber gasket that goes in here, and it's easy to take out. You just pull it out, and it'll come out very easy. So you could clean this. The rubber gasket is dishwasher safe, and so is the inside pot. These do tend to smell, I will say. Mine smells like food. It doesn't stink. But you can run it through the dishwasher, which I do, and then I also soak it in some vinegar, which is recommended, and that does help with it a little bit. And I will say the one thing that no one, like I didn't, people show you how to use the machine, obviously, but I didn't pay attention to it. And at first I'm like, oh, I'm never going to get this stupid lid closed, and you're fighting with it. It's very simple. Make sure this knob is in the back of the machine. And then it'll go down. I'll show you again. Just make sure it's in the back. It'll go down and it'll click just like that. And when this thing is plugged in, it'll beep at you so you know the lid is closed. Just always make sure where it says close and open is in the front of the machine. That's the one thing that used to frustrate me until I realized, just make sure that's in the front at all times. Okay, so what else can I say about this? So I really love this machine. It works great. It cooks everything super fast. I've already used this probably 4 times this week, you know, including Sunday. I love it. I really do love cooking in this. It makes excellent food. The one thing that I'm amazed at that it does cook are hard-boiled eggs. I do have a video on how to make a hard-boiled egg in here. It is absolutely wonderful. And just to try to peel those eggs after is what makes it so great, because they're so easy to peel, and I use farm fresh eggs, so a lot of times those are harder to peel, but using this to steam them or to cook them is really, really good. So let's see. You can cook more than one thing in here. They have a new thing, you could get it on Amazon. It's like 2 trays that are together and they go right inside of it. And you could cook, just say, a dessert in the top one, and you could cook some meat or vegetables in the second one. That's the other thing that's great about this is you can cook desserts in here. A friend of mine has cooked a Japanese cheesecake in here, which I'm going to be cooking this weekend, so I'll do a video on that for you guys. It comes out phenomenal. We really love it. She has one too. I'm so glad she got it, because now we, you know, at work we talk about our crock pot, well, our Instant Pot stories. They're really great. Let's see, that ring, the inside ring, eventually you will have to replace, and they're pretty cheap. I think there was 2 of them for $12 on Amazon, so that's not too bad. The other thing too, when you're using this, you have a natural release and a quick release. And the natural release is when you leave it in the sealed position. Let's see if I can do it. You'll leave it in the sealed position like this, and then this is popped up. So as you can see, it's popped up right here. And if you leave it in the natural one, just leave it there, and then eventually all the pressure inside will go down, and this will go down on its own. Or if you want to do it really quick, you just turn this from sealing to vent, and this will come down much faster. It'll come out of here, and you don't want to be right in front of it because it's steam coming out. So you want to be careful about it. A lot of recipes will tell you which one to use. I pretty much always use the quick release. It's just a lot faster, and the food is cooked, so it does work good. The other thing that I have not tried is the 0-minute cook. So what you're going to do is, if you're cooking broccoli or custards, things like that, like a broccoli is very soft, so you don't want it to be mushy, you'll go ahead and put this on pressure, low pressure, And then when you adjust the time, you're going to adjust it to 0. So what that means is this builds up pressure. Once it builds the pressure, it then automatically releases it. And it'll cook your broccoli and your custards and things like that perfectly. Works really good, so I recommend that as well. The one thing I didn't realize about this, if you're on a high altitude, you're going to have to adjust your time. And you could go online and find the adjustments for that, and it'll tell you based on where you are to sea level. So it'll tell you how to adjust on that. Let's see, what else could we talk about on here? Rice comes out fantastic in here. I absolutely love cooking rice in here. I, for whatever reason, love to cook good, cannot cook rice in a pot. I just can't do it. So I bought a rice cooker from Tupperware, and I was using that for a while for my white rice. It worked really good, but you couldn't cook brown rice in it. So I didn't like that. So with this, I could cook white rice, brown rice, basmati rice. You could cook any kind of rice in there. And again, the book that comes with it, I'll tell you the ratios. And that's the other thing, that book, you want to keep it, or you could even look it up online. But it tells you exactly how long to cook every type of grain, meats, seafoods. You could cook anything in here, and it really does come out great. You just want to make sure you're using the right timing for this. And the other thing too is you can cook frozen food in here. All you want to do is take whatever it says for meat, and you're going to multiply that time by 1.5. So you're going to cook it for time and a half if it's frozen. So if it tells you to cook the meat for 10 minutes for regular unfrozen meat, you're going to multiply that by 1.5. And then if the meat is frozen, that means you're going to cook the frozen meat for 15 minutes, and it'll come out just as great as if it wasn't frozen. And I've cooked all kinds of meat in here. The only thing I have not cooked in here is seafood, but I've seen other people cook shrimp in here, and they come out really good looking. So it's something that we're going to probably do soon. My husband doesn't like seafood, so it's kind of annoying that to cook just for one person. But my mom likes it, so I'll probably cook some shrimp for the both of us sometime soon. What else have I cooked in here? Oh, the Saute button is so great on this, because a lot of times, if you're doing a pot roast or something like that, you want to saute it first, and then you want to either pressure cook it, or you can slow cook it. So a lot of times it'll tell you to brown the meat first. So instead of having to go get another pan, you go ahead, put this on the Saute button. You hit the plus or minus button. It'll say on here less, normal, and more. So less would be a lower temperature, then medium, and then high. And you're going to use that, and that'll be how hot this gets to saute. And then you're cooking it in the same pot, so you're not dirtying a pan and a pot. So I think that's really a great thing to have on here. I think that's one of the things I love the best about it, is I don't have to dirty more than one pot. I really like that. And then the other thing I want to talk about is using it as a crock pot. It's a little bit different for the model that I have, because you're going to do low, normal, and more, or less is less, normal, and more. And it's a little confusing because a crock pot, the ones I have are high and low. Some do have 3 settings, so it would equal this one, which works out great. Just so you know, the low setting, or the less setting on here, is 190 to 201 degrees Fahrenheit. The normal setting is 194 to 205 degrees Fahrenheit, and the more setting is 199 to 210 degrees Fahrenheit. So the less is low, the more is high. Just want to know that when you're cooking in here, so you know to do 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours on less, or 3 to 4 hours, depending on what you're making, on more. And again, if you're using this as a crock pot, the thing, you just want to make sure that this is on venting. If it's not on venting, it's going to build up steam and pressure, and then it's not going to cook the way you normally want it to. So I really think it's a great gadget. I would definitely recommend it. I have recommended it. My friend got it that I work with, Ashley. She got it. My sister's probably going to be getting it. I recommend it to everybody. I absolutely love this. Pressure Luck is a YouTuber that has phenomenal recipes on this. He has really, really great recipes. So if you haven't already looked him up, I would look him up. He'll give you great recipes. I cook in it all the time, and I just really like it. So I hope you guys, if you have one, use it. And if you haven't been using it, just find recipes that suit your needs. And I'm telling you, it's really a great machine to have. I absolutely love it. So you could get it on Amazon. I believe Target sells it. I know that they're coming out with other, like the Crock Pot brand name of them. I haven't used any of those. I've only used the actual Instant Pot, and I highly recommend it. So I hope you guys, if you have one, leave a comment below how you like it. And if you have any questions, leave it in the comments below as well. And hopefully, you know, we can figure out if there's any concerns or anything, how to fix it. Or if you just want to tell me how much you love it, leave that in the comments below. So I hope you like this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time, guys. Bye.